After a weekend that caused flooding across the region, we're hoping to dry out as the week moves on. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here for Western Mass News at 6. I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. We do have team coverage for you tonight as communities clean up following the damage caused by flooding. We begin with Western Mass News meteorologist Don Maher with the latest on what we can expect moving forward. Don?
Well, good news, Jordyn, is I think there are some drier days headed our way. But with the rainfall we saw over the weekend, both Westover Air Reserve Base in Chicopee and Barnes Airport in Westfield, July 2021, now the wettest July on record. Barnes and Westfield picking up just under 12 inches of rain so far this year. Next nearest is 2008 when it was just under 10 inches. And keep in mind, we've still got a good week and a half or so until the month of July comes to an end, and we've seen more showers out there this afternoon. But the good news is those showers are moving on out. In fact, you can see here on our Six Flags Skycam, actually getting a little bit of blue sky in there, and some locations are seeing the sunshine begin to break out as well. Temperatures mainly in the 70s. In fact, 74 Pittsfield, 74 in Worthington, 77 Charlemont, also 77 in North Adams. We'll see overnight lows tonight actually dipping down into the mid-60s. You take a look at the satellite and radar. There go the last of the showers, at least at this point. You look on off to our west, our northwest. We're actually seeing a little bit of clearing begin to take place. In fact, you can clearly see it here on our visible satellite. So the showers coming to an end. We'll start to see skies becoming partly cloudy as we move through the late evening and into the overnight. Temperatures tonight going to dip down into the 60s. So when was the drier air actually going to move in? I'll let you know my full forecast in just a couple of minutes from now. Jordyn?
All right, Don, thanks. Our team coverage continues up north in Franklin County. The storm damage is still being repaired by crews under a state of emergency in Orange. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo is live for us with those details. Audrey?
I spoke with the Orange fire chief, and he tells me that Orange is still under a state of emergency so that emergency crews can go out and survey and repair damage with fewer restrictions. But Orange isn't the only town in Franklin County with damage.
I was amazed. I was shocked, actually, because yesterday, there was some, but this is unbelievable.
This is the driveway leading up to Ian Kelly's Warwick farm, now complete with a canyon-like river running down the washed-out earth. Kelly says because of the damage caused by the weekend flooding, he's essentially stuck in his home.
Yes, all day.
Which is too far to walk to stores or other commercial areas. As for what caused the extreme flooding, Kelly has a theory.
We're currently trying to ask the town to fix our culverts because they haven't emptied them in years.
We reached out to the town of Warwick for more information on the drainage system. Kelly says getting a hold of anyone with the town to help has been tough.
They've been working 24 hours a day for the past few days, trying to fix other roads.
Over in Orange, Flag Road remains closed after the flooding caused a complete washout of one section of the roadway.
And you couldn't see any of this, though. It was right up to the street level.
Another area of Orange, Tully Road, will also remain closed, according to the town's fire chief, who says Mass DOT still needs to inspect the bridge. The chief says the state of emergency there is expected to remain in effect through Monday. Now, residents and people in the area were also stopping us today to tell us about flood damage that they saw over the border in Winchester, New Hampshire. Up there, police had to put barriers in the road and remind people not to drive across flooded streets. Live in Orange, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for that live report. The list of Western Mass towns that have declared a state of emergency continues to grow over the past 24 hours. Right now, Orange is joined by Montague, Ware, and Palmer. We'll have more from Palmer coming up in just a little bit. Our team coverage continues now with Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis, who's live for us in Belchertown, where flooding from a beaver dam washed out East Street and a couple's driveway. Leon?
Jordyn, flooding from the Beaver Dam took out a part of East Street. Cars cannot go past there, and if you want to go to the other side, you have to go around. One driveway is completely gone. Their yard flooded. Now here's what one resident has to say that lives inside the home.
I'd actually smelled it. I woke up in the night, looked out. I think the river was flowing down.
What Belchertown resident Stephen Wood smelled was water taking out his driveway. It happened Sunday morning, but look at it now. The driveway completely gone, sand everywhere. Their whole yard was completely covered in water. The damage extended to their backyard.
We got a 6-foot hole in the driveway. The water was up to here. It went over the porch. We couldn't find our cat. She showed up last night, so.
To fix unexpected damage from the flooding, Stephen Wood tells Western Mass News it's likely to cost tens of thousands of dollars.
I don't know who's gonna pay for this. We can't get hold of insurance, and it's flood, so we're afraid they're not gonna.
Stephen and his wife's cars are both in the sand. The only way for them to drive out onto East Street is through the side of their yard into their neighbor's driveway.
Appears that it didn't get water in it. No water was inside, but we got both of them. You can see how high it is. They're gonna help us get these out. There's a foot of silt in the garage.
Despite Wood's yard completely flooded by the beaver dam, his basement did not take much water.
The basement window held. It just water trickled in there. We got about 2 inches of water in the basement.
The Belchertown Fire Chief tells me that people should avoid East Street if they can. And he also says that that part of East Street could be closed off for up to a month. Live in Belchertown, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Leon, thanks for that live report. The heavy rains have led to dangerous water levels in local rivers and ponds. Our live team coverage continues now with Western Mass News reporter Matt Satilli, who's live for us in Amherst with more. Matt?
Jordyn, the town of Amherst releasing a flood advisory today following a weekend of intense rainfall. The town's fire chief tells me they are advising residents, in short, to be smart.
We're telling folks, stay away. That's the first thing. And then if you run into trouble, dial 911.
Tim Nelson, Amherst's fire chief, highlighting the dangers in Western Mass after the latest weekend washout.
It's rare to get this much rain in such a short amount of time.
He says they are paying extra attention to conditions at Mill River, Fort River, and Puffer's Pond. We went to Puffer's Pond to check it out for ourselves. One Amherst resident tells me he comes here almost daily.
We often walk around the pond to get some exercise, and in the summer it's a great place to take a dip.
And while he's staying out of the water for now, he's been here long enough to know where to go and where to avoid.
We know enough about how the water flows, and we don't go over and just go near the dam where you might get swept over.
The shallow area of Puffer's Pond near the beach is open to the public, but water on the other side remains off limits. While there are no new signs posted, Chief Nelson tells Western Mass News they are keeping a close eye on waterways with fast-moving currents.
We're kind of paying special attention to those spots that could be trouble spots.
And after this much rain in a short amount of time, Mother Nature can have a mind of its own.
There's really nowhere for the rain to go, so it's going where it wants to go.
He says it could take 3 to 5 days of dry weather before water levels return to normal. And he's advising people to play it safe until then.
Just warn folks, just, be smart, stay out of the water, especially now.
Nelson says in particular, stay away from any fast-moving streams, rivers, and elevated ponds following the heavy rainfall. Reporting live in Amherst, Matt Satilli, Western Mass News.
Matt, thanks. And for the latest on the weather situation, including a slideshow of pictures from this past weekend, as well as what to expect in the coming week, be sure that you have our free Western Mass News streaming app. New at 6, an arrest over the weekend in Springfield led to the police confiscating their 120th illegal gun this year. Police tell Western Mass News they took 31-year-old Kawan Sutton into custody a little after 5 p.m. Saturday. They say they were responding to reports of a disturbance on Boston Road and that Sutton had threatened to shoot someone while reaching for his waistband. Police say they seized a gun loaded with 23 rounds of ammunition. Sutton faces multiple charges, including carrying a firearm without a license. The Department of Public Health releasing today's COVID-19 data. They say the state's positivity rate over the past week sits at just over 1%. They say there have sadly been 4 new deaths due to the virus, and so far, a little over 61% of Massachusetts residents have been fully vaccinated. For a full look at the numbers, you can check out our free Western Mass News app. Mayor Dominic Sarno and Congressman Richard Neal met at the Caring Health Center in Springfield this morning to discuss the new health insurance benefits created by the American Rescue Plan. Provisions in the plan include a $0 health plan via the Affordable Care Act. According to State Senator Eric Lesser, who was also in attendance, with the passage of the American Rescue Plan, millions of more people are going to get access to health care exchanges, which he says is extremely important. The American Rescue Plan is a $1.9 trillion federal COVID-19 relief package signed into law earlier this year.